This is William Jenkins doing a series of videos on success in school. This is part three. Well, it's one video separated into several parts. This is part three. I hope that you will listen to part one and two so that part three fits in the proper sequence and makes sense. Now, up to this point, I've talked about the things that you can do to make it much more likely that you will be successful in school. In fact, I could just about assure you, guarantee you, that if you do all the things in these videos, you will succeed in school. You'll graduate. So I want you to listen to part one and two, and then listen to this video, which is part three. Now, this one starts off with something that every child hates to hear, but needs to hear. Shut up and listen. Now, my students and former students, or many of them still friends of mine, will always tell anybody who said they've had my class and have become really a person who understands what it means to be in one of my classes, and they will say, "How many times have you been told to shut up and listen?" Because they know that one of the things that I always told them is to shut up and listen. One of the most difficult things for high school kids to do, particularly those who are leaning toward getting in trouble, is to shut up and listen. Now, I tell my students that there is a reason that nature fixed you so that you could hear 9 months before you could talk. Your ears are developed much faster or long before your tongue, to the degree that it can form audible speech. Shut up and listen. The two groups of kids, or one of the things that I've found out about the kids who are the least likely to succeed in school and the kids who are most likely to succeed in school, or the kids who are most successful and the kids who are least success, is the degree to which they will shut up and listen. Smart kids, good students, are almost always good listeners. And problem students are less effective, less well-educated students are poor listeners. They're always trying to tell you what they know. School is not a place where you go to teach people what you know. School is a place where you go to learn, to add to what you know. Yes, you may know some things, but school is a place to add to that, not to use what you think you know as a reason or excuse not to listen to other people. Knowledge is the only thing that people use as having enough of, or use having enough of it as an excuse or reason for not getting more of it. And only people do that is usually people who are not all that smart. If you had $100,000 and I told you that I was going to give you 10,000, you wouldn't tell me, "Oh no, don't give me $10,000 because I have 100,000." You would say, "Oh, great, I'll have 110,000." But if you have read a book and you know two or three things about the book, and the teacher tries to tell you some more things, and I don't need to listen to that, I already know about that. Do the same thing you would do if it was money. Say, "I have some knowledge, but if I would listen to and learn this new stuff, I could add to it." So learn to shut up and listen. It is not an indication that you're such a child that people are talking to you like you're a child. It is you're at school to learn. And the way to do that is to listen. Personality and character. Be a person of a good personality. Be pleasant. Be friendly. Be appreciative. Show your best personality. Put your best foot forward. Be about something. Have good character. People like to do things for good people. People like to do things for good people. So let people know that you are a good person. A pleasant personality and good character go a long way towards success in school. It is much easier to get a good education if you are a good person. You see, education actually in the Western world is really information for people who are trying to do certain things. The liberal arts curriculum is really about trying to do right. It is about ordering one's life, bringing one's life in line with the truth of the universe. And if you want to be a good person, you're much more likely to be willing to order your life in line with the information in education than you would if you want to be a rebel, an antagonist, and a person who's against everything. So if you want to get a good education, have a good personality, and be a good person. The next thing you need to do, if you want to put the odds of success in school in your favor, is choose you a favorite teacher. Choose a favorite teacher. Find somebody at the school who can relate to and you can relate to. Somebody that likes you. Somebody who wants you to be successful. Somebody that you can talk to. Almost all the kids that I know who are successful in school have a favorite teacher. They have somebody that they would go to school that day just to see. I had kids over the course of my career who came to school just to see me. They would tell me, Mr. Jigger, I just had to come to school today to see you. Now, of course, they went to class and did the other things that they were there to do, but that was their motivation to come to school. And there were other teachers or other students who had teachers who were their favorite teachers that they came to school that day simply because that teacher was there and was going to give them an encouraging word. Now you may say, well, nobody up there likes me. Well, who told you that? That's a conclusion you came to. And then you might come to the conclusion, I'm so weird that certainly nobody up there can relate to me. Well, you'd be surprised how weird some of your teachers were when they were your age. And some of us can relate to all kinds of weird kids. You might not be, you see, and you may not be nearly as weird as you think you are. There's a teacher at your school that can bond with and help a weird kid like you find his way out of weirdness or become a very, very well educated weird person. Some of our great scholars, our great inventors, our great artists were weird people. They were not just like the rest of us. So don't let the fact that you might not be just like the rest of them keep you from thinking, keep you from bonding with one of the teachers at your school. It is very important to have a favorite teacher. There are things that a favorite teacher can do for you, and I'll share those things with you. One is that a favorite teacher can talk to you about personal things. They can talk to you about things that have nothing to do with the school. I think that one of the reasons that I bonded with so many students and have maintained friendship with so many students after I retired is that I was interested in the whole lives of my students. I went to their ball games. I wanted to know what other kinds of things they would do. I had a piano in my room at one point, and if a kid said that he or she could play the piano, I remember one case where the kids was a very, very quiet kid and didn't mix well. Well, one day I found out that the kids could play the piano. Well, several days after that, I'd have her go to the piano and play, and it just really made a difference in her life. So I was interested in the total lives of my students, and I still am. I have pictures all over my house of the kids. Former students have sent me pictures of their kids because they know that I'm interested in the whole child. The reason I'm doing this video is because of that. I wasn't just interested in my students in the classroom when I was being paid to teach them and put up with them for a semester. I was interested in them growing up to become good citizens and build a great country. That was the reason I was in education in the first place. That's the reason I'm doing this video. It hasn't changed. I haven't been in the classroom as a classroom teacher in 15 years, but I'm still involved in the education of kids their whole lives, because that's what education is about. A favorite teacher will help you settle down when you get angry about stuff. And just about every kid gets angry about stuff and thinks that the world is mistreating them. Well, sometime when you go and talk to your favorite teacher, he or she will kind of settle you down and get you to see that the world is not against you, that the other teacher that you can't stand didn't go to college to get a degree just to come out and find you and mistreat you. That you have to kind of take a moment and reassess things. Also, a favorite teacher kind of keeps you going when stuff happens. You know, some tough stuff happens to us. I've had kids who while they were in my class, they were members of their family died, brother or sister, sometimes parents, people got sick. Tough things happen. And it's tough to keep going totally on your own. But if you have somebody that you know care about you and will encourage you, um, that will help you. And favorite teachers do that when there's no one else to do it. And then you also need somebody to remind you of how important you are. Sometimes we get kind of feeling like we're insignificant. Nobody cares. And as the kids would say, nobody gives a damn. Well, more people care than you may realize. They might not have told you, but people are watching you and they care more than you might think that they care. And to know that you have at least one other person who cares about you. Another thing a favorite teacher does that you might not like that much, and that is confront you when you get out of line. And sometimes you'll get out of line, and somebody needs to pull you to the side and say, sit down and shut up. And some people are they're not courageous enough to do that to certain kids. I could do that to any of my students, regardless of how big and strong they were. Some of them were bigger and stronger than I was. But they need to do that. So there are other things in this book that a favorite teacher can do, but I will skip over them and go to the next point, and that is to manage your time well. Manage your time well. If you want to be successful in school, learn to manage your time well. You only have 24 hours in a day, and you have to get the things done that you have to do. So manage your time well. Now, here's some time management tips. One is use every minute productively. 2, don't overload yourself. 3, learn to say no. Learn to say no. 4, don't put stuff off. 5, make use of short blocks of time. 6, always work while waiting. 7, organize stuff in time. So these are things that you can do to manage your time well. And I have not managed the time in this section of this video very well, not as well as I should have. So we're going to end part 3 at this point and take up with part 4 in the next video.